Yo, what's up, everybody? Stand up here. I'm finally back from the break. I missed one card, but it's all good. I am back now. I look a bit rough, but it is whatever. Let's just get into it. UFC 283, Texeira versus Hill. Very excited for this card. It's going to be a very good one. First time out in Brazil in like 2.5 years. Fun fact: the first pandemic card was in Brazil, UFC Brazil. There was a fight night between Kevin Lee and Oliveira. But whatever, let's get into it. Main event: Glover Teixeira versus Jamahal Hill. Championship fight, of course. The fight between Ankalaev and Blachowicz was a draw, so the belt is still vacant. Now these two are going to fight for it. Both guys are 4-1 in their last 5. Jamahal Hill is a good striker. It's a great boxer with deadly power in his hands. Glover Teixeira, also very powerful, but he is a guy that relies more on his grappling nowadays. Very good with his BJJ. Very strong, good wrestling as well. But like you guys can see, he's old, 43 years of age, while Jamahal Hill is 31. He's getting into his prime. He's the far younger fighter, the fighter with that has taken way less damage. But I feel like stylistically, Glover Teixeira should be able to win this fight because he's a very good BJJ fighter and a good wrestler. And Jamahal Hill has shown to have a problem with those fighters, man. Like, we've seen him lose against Paul Craig, which wasn't even 2 years ago, it was a year and a half ago. And his arm, like, I don't know, it was dangling. I don't know what was going on there, but it wasn't good. Hill was still fighting though, which is admirable, but he was going to lose that fight anyway. The ref stopped it with a good reason. After that, he beat Jimmy Crute, Johnny Walker. Both guys have shown to be pretty chinny. And then Thiago Santos 3 months ago, he was getting out wrestled in that fight, and Thiago Santos, he just isn't a wrestler, and he got tired. And if Thiago Santos can out wrestle you, Glover Teixeira should do bad things to you. But the problem is Glover Teixeira has been caught like many times in his fights. Like against Nikita Krylov, he wasn't, but the fight before that against Carl Roberson, if you get hurt by him, man, I feel like Jamahal Hill could do some bad things to you. So it's a very 50-50 fight. Like, I don't want to say that it's a grappler versus striker because Glover has shown that he can strike as well with the best. Like with Gio Prohaska, he hurt him like multiple times, especially in the 5th round. So I don't want to say that it's a grappler versus striker type of fight, but I feel like it kind of is. I am going with Glover Teixeira though at plus 105, like 115. It's a pretty good bet in my opinion, but he's getting real old at this point, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Jamahal Hill just clocks him and knocks him out, but I'm going with Teixeira here. I feel like if he gets it done, it could be pretty quick. Now next up, we got the quadrilogy between Davis and Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. Man, all these fights were so exciting. You can see the records. 5-1 are the same for both guys because they are 1-1 against each other. First fight was a draw. Second fight, Brandon Moreno finished Davison after knocking him down and submitting him. And Davison Figueiredo won the third fight by a close decision. Knocked him down 3 times in that fight. And won fair and square in my opinion, although it was close. Now the 4th fight is here. Davison Figueiredo hasn't fought anybody else in more than 2 years, while Brandon Moreno has fought Kai Kara France in his last fight to win the interim title. So it's not like they are making the fights back to back. Brandon Moreno has earned his spot once again, and yeah, I feel like he will win this fight. Because Davison, he's getting old, 35 years old at flyweight. For flyweight, that's pretty old because those guys have to be explosive, fast. And Davison is very powerful still. And I mean, both guys are still very good. It's going to be a close fight, but I feel like Moreno with a new camp, he will be different. He will be moving much better. He will have a counter to the low kicks, and I feel like he was outboxing Davison and most of the time, but he got caught. He like with the leg kick, with the overhand, and I feel like Brandon Moreno will learn from his mistakes and just go to a decision with Figgy and beat him there. But to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Figgy comes back and beats him, maybe even KOs him, because Moreno has been dropped a few times in their last fight. So I wouldn't be too surprised. But I feel like Brandon Moreno, he still has the grit, he still has the chin, the speed, even the power, because he is like, when he lands, he is hurting Figgy. Like, it isn't like he's throwing baby punches. He is hurting Figgy, like, just not the same. The punches aren't the same like the ones with Davison, but they're still doing some damage. Then next up we got Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. Magny is a big underdog, plus 320. They are almost the same age. Magny will be the bigger fighter here, 6'3" with much bigger reach, but I feel like that won't be too much of a problem for Burns. I feel like this could be a close fight, but also I've seen that RDA like beat Neil Magny pretty badly, and I feel like Gilbert Burns, he should be able to do it more dominantly. So yeah, that's the reason he's a minus 410 favorite. He had a very close fight with Khamzat Chimaev. Some say even that he won. So if he fights with Chimaev that way, he should be able to run through Magny. Magny has said that he fucked around and found out with Khamzat. Neil Magny has been calling Khamzat out for quite some time, and they've trained, and there have been some videos of Khamzat beating him. So when he says he fucked around and found out, that's exactly what he meant. Khamzat was beating him in training, and if we use MMA logic, Burns should just run through him, and I feel like he will, because he has good striking and good grappling as well. Jessica Andrade versus Lauren Murphy. This will be at 125. This is a hard one, because Lauren Murphy is pretty good. She's winning against everyone except for Valentina Shevchenko, of course. Her last win was against Miesha Tate. Last fight was against Miesha Tate, but Jessica Andrade, man, she's so powerful, so big, so strong. I mean, she isn't big, but like for height, she's very big, very strong, and you can just see it, man. I feel like she will just beat Lauren Murphy, maybe TKO, probably TKO in the second or third round, because she's just too big, too strong, and very good as well. She's not just powerful, she's just good on the ground as well, good wrestling, good power. She even beat Caitlin Chikagian, who's like the top of the top at 125 right now. So I feel like it's not really going to be close. Kind of competitive, but I feel like Jessica Andrade should just get this done pretty easily with a TKO second round, I'd say. Now, Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker. Now, this is very interesting. This fight is going to be finished 100%. If there's a good line for that, you have to jump on it, because let's just see. Krylov decision, damn. KO against Span, decision, KO loss, and submission. Now against Thiago Santos, that was weird, very weird, anomaly in my opinion. Krylov, he just decided to grapple Johnny Walker, but he isn't as good on the ground as Paul Craig, like we've seen. Paul Craig submitted Krylov. Decision against Ozdemir, KO against Jamahal Hill. That was kind of bad. It was with the arm. Hua taps the strikes and then triangle choke. I feel like this fight just is not going to distance. Paul Craig has the chin isn't too bad, but it's kind of iffy. And Johnny Walker's chin it has been gone for quite some time now. Every time he gets hit like a little hard, he just goes flat out. Against Jamahal Hill, I know Jamahal Hill has good power, man, but that shot barely landed right here, and I know it was weird, and Johnny Walker got killed like he got hit with fucking Ngannou size hands, man. It was crazy. But this fight is not going to decision, in my opinion. I feel like Johnny Walker should win this. Paul Craig just doesn't have the wrestling. He's very wonky though, and so is Jamahal Hill. So they might just have some weird stuff, and they fall on the ground, and Paul Craig just goes for like a leg lock and tears his knee apart. I don't know, something like that might happen. But I feel like if Johnny Walker just just does his thing on the outside, low kicks, jabs, that kind of thing. I feel like he could beat Paul Craig, and he has shown that his grappling is improving as well. Ian Kutulabe, he submitted him after getting out grappled a bit, so he's shown some improvement. So I'm going with Johnny Walker, but it's not a fight I would put money on. Definitely not. Now the prelims, I will talk about them, but like fairly quick. Mauricio Hua versus Iho Porteria. Shogun, his last fight, retirement fight. I don't like retirement fights for those guys. I feel like Igor he's in good fight. He is not a good fighter, but he has power in the first 2-3 minutes, and I feel like he could just knock Hua out, because Hua just looks so bad in his last fight against OSP. It was just sad to watch, to be honest. I feel like Igor should just be able to knock him out in the first 2-3 minutes, but if not, I could see a potential win for Mauricio Hua. Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira. To be honest, I do not know much about Ferreira, but a newcomer. I feel like Gregory will just run through him with a first round TKO. Thiago Moises versus Melquizael Costa. Pretty sure Costa has been choked out like a few years ago, I think. Like he got slapped, choked out, slapped, and I feel like Thiago Moises is a good enough BJJ practitioner, and he will use his grappling and just beat Costa, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm going to be honest, I don't know about too much about Melquizael as well. Now we got Gabriel Bonfim versus Munir Lazes. I am going with, let's see, what are the odds? I feel like Bonfim is the favorite. Yeah, he is. I wouldn't say slight, but pretty good fighters on his record. I feel like the brothers are very good. Munir Lazes has shown some weaknesses, and I feel like Bonfim will beat him. Jailton Almeida versus Shamil Abdurakhimov. I am going with Jailton Almeida. The guy is a minus 1,000 favorite for a reason. I feel like he will just run through Shamil with a second round submission. Then we got Terence McKinney versus Ismail Bonfim, the other brother. Pretty sure he's the older brother, but he's the smaller brother. Bonfim is good though. He is good. 18-3. Also fought a lot of guys with good record, like you guys can see here. But I don't know, man. Terence McKinney in the first round, he's so good. Like in the beginning of the second as well. If he fights like he did against Eric Gonzalez, I feel like he could beat Bonfim. But Bonfim is good. Especially Ismail, I'm pretty high on. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bonfim beats him. But I am going with Terence McKinney. He is very much a first round finish or bust though. So that I wouldn't put money on this fight. Warley Alves versus Nicolas Dalby. Dalby has looked pretty bad in his last few fights, so I'm going with Alves, although Alves hasn't looked too good either. Josean Nunes versus Zara Fern. Zara Fern is ass cheeks. Josean Nunes will beat her, probably by TKO in the first or second round. Luan Lacerda versus Cody Stamen. Lacerda is a BJJ practitioner from what I've heard and seen. I feel like Cody Stamen is too good to fall into the trap of going to the ground with them or like in dangerous positions. I feel like Cody will win a decision here. And Daniel Marcos versus Simon Oliveira. This I was not impressed with Oliveira at all against what's his name? Against Tony Gravely. Before that, pretty good fighters with good records, but I feel like Daniel Marcos is pretty good. He's undefeated, and I feel like he will win this fight. This is my underdog of the night, probably. I don't know how many underdogs I got. Not too much, I think. But yeah, I feel like Daniel Marcos will win. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later.